Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and we are here at the mid-season break. 20 episodes in. This is season 19, episode 20. For everything, there is a season.
And a mid-season. And then another half of a season, eventually, at some point, after the Baldwins take over.
The length of 2 seasons.
A couple of seasons in this season.
I have to tell you, I'm a little defensive of the Browns about this because I know this is a strategy that they deploy over at Viacom when they don't want to pay you more for a season. They just make it an A and a B. And then they don't have to renegotiate your contract. They do it to the teen mom kids all the time. Are they kids?
Not anymore. Some of them kind of still are. Ryan still is.
He's showing growth.
Growth is a stretch, but okay.
And you heard us right. There is going to be a mid-season break. How long? To be determined. But what it seems like is this new show about the Baldwins that nobody asked TLC for is going to air for what, probably 8-10 episodes, something like that?
No idea. Yeah, usually those initial seasons of stuff, but that's like the test run things of like Plathville when that first came out, that was only like 6 episodes and stuff like that. So even though it's a newer show, it is an established celebrity family that nobody wants to find out anything more about right now. So I guess they don't need to prove themselves. They are going to try to win us over, I guess.
If you're excited for the Baldwins, can you let us know?
Can you stop listening now? Because I have nothing nice to say about the Baldwins.
So assuming Sister Wives will be back as soon as that ends, but we are not going anywhere. No rest for the weary over at Surviving Sister Wives.
We're going to keep cranking out episodes over here. Don't you worry.
And I think what we're going to do is something a little fun. I could use some nostalgia. We did a little trivia over on Patreon. And when we were going through and doing the questions, we were going back and rewatching old episodes. And it made me want to go back to some of the classic moments from Sister Wives history.
So we'll be handpicking some select scenes to review in greater detail and to kind of go over with a fine-tooth comb.
But there's a catch. For those of you who are familiar with our work on Seventh Heaven over on the Patreon,
we're often impaired when it comes to those types of recaps. So there may be some substances that are acquired in the process as well.
So stay tuned for that. We're going to be starting the Sister Wives rehash next week. But first, we got to get through this episode.
The TLC description for this one is, on a road trip across the country to move Janelle to North Carolina, Christine, Janelle, and David stop at a bar where Janelle has her first shot ever. The fate of Meri's B&B is up in the air, and Kody and Robin have a heart-to-heart with Rora.
I have a confession. I have reached my limit with the Kody and Robin storylines this season.
I could have done with some more church shopping footage and less of the progression into religion for each individual person in this family.
It just feels so manufactured and forced that I've had a lot of patience up until this point, and now I can't take it anymore.
So what, should we start there? No, I hope not.
You can't skip my rewrite.
No.
A familiar face greets Christine and Janelle as they leave artifacts from their marriage to Kody behind. Meri runs out of friends to run her B&B. Rora channels Rebecca Ann Lehman to confirm the rumors are true.
There is a special man in my life.
It's going to be a drop dead gorgeous heavy episode when we get to that part. So buckle up, everyone.
Da, 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 da.
I do have to say, well, are we going to start with Thelma and Louise?
Yeah, it's another moving day. So that's always big news in the Sister Wives franchise.
Another day, another U-Haul.
It's a big old truck. We're piling it full of stuff. We're not ratchet strapping anything down.
Fuck it. Let it all bash around all the way to North Carolina.
It's all packed up.
It's a long drive.
That's a long drive. That's real far.
And Janelle is not going to drive that truck by herself that distance. So she has recruited David and Christine to go on this road trip with her. And Truly, because, she's not going to go to her dad's for the weekend.
Yeah, we're not splitting custody here. What do you think this is?
Does seem like it would make this a little easier, but guessing Kody's not around. He's been scheduled to work.
It's not an option.
I have to give a shout out to David and Christine before we move on, because I did receive the drywall tortilla tutorial that was discussed in the last episode.
Very impressive. Quick turnaround time. 5 stars.
Good advice. A thorough tutorial. They even had like a whole wall that needed repair. I asked if we could get advice on how to fix the drywall tape that's separating from our walls and our ceilings.
Yeah, I think we should have been more specific, because David was great with the tutorial of showing us how to do that on a wall. Didn't ask him how to do that on an 18-foot ceiling.
So that's the next thing that we've got to figure out.
But I don't blame David for that part of it. That's my own personal problem now that I have to deal with. And he's given me all of the information that he has available to him.
And it was David's first cameo. I mean, not his first appearance on camera. We know that happens on OnlyFans.
Yeah, well, maybe. It's always nice to be someone's first. I liked that Christine said it was the cutest request she's ever had for a cameo.
Thank you. You really questioned my approach, too.
Well, I think I got confused when you directed absolutely none of the cameo to Christine, and it is Christine's cameo that you applied to. So I thought that was maybe a little rude.
No, I literally was like, can David make me a tutorial explaining how to do this? And I did not say like, big fan of you too.
No, nothing. No.
Would love a hello. Nothing. Just like, I needed this old house style instructional video from David.
I don't think that's what it was, but it was his own version of it,
Made it his own.
He didn't have a New England accent. There was no...
Is that what you needed out of him?
Yeah,
Christine can do it.
There was no horrible coffee for Christine.
Anyway, 10 out of 10 over there on Cameo. Where are we? Oh, David almost crushes the truck. They're not going to get... don't you put a deposit down? What is it? You have to get the insurance on the U-Haul. I mean, do they bother with that anymore?
If you're using your rewards points, I don't know. Does that... I don't know how that factors in.
They're at this storage unit where I guess Janelle has stored most of her kitchen appliances.
And boot lamps.
The boot lamps, did she get them out of storage?
I hope so.
I hope they came to North Carolina with her.
It'd be very fitting to have them in her North Carolina living room.
By the way, guys, on our Etsy page, you can own your own Janelle boot lamp in the form of a pillow.
I don't know if people are aware of that, so I feel like we should just say it. So, yeah, it's out there. It's available.
It's an option for you to add to your home decor.
You could do that.
Those storage unit gates are dangerous. Like, can confirm.
And they don't mess around either. So, yeah, they don't like people tailgating through and having multiple vehicles enter and exit at the same time. That's not how this works. So Janelle has a heart attack when David is slowly meandering the truck at what I can expect is a David pace.
Oh, that's what you think happened?
Up through, and then he just parked it halfway, and she's like, go, don't stop. You gotta keep going. Clear the gate. She freaked out a little bit.
A little bit. I think we needed Janelle to take a little Xanny before we got in the car.
I mean, she's already stressed out. She hasn't slept. She is doing nothing but thinking about this move. Her voice is already very hoarse, and that's before she screamed that they have to go.
I think Truly bit him.
Oh, is that why he had to stop? He
had
to bandage his arm.
No, I think it's very cute that David and Truly have gotten to the point where they're going on long road trips together.
And Christine and Janelle are in the other vehicle, the pickup truck, Thelma and Louising it.
Hopefully not off the side of a mountain or something.
No. And they don't plan to rob anyone at this point. But until they're given no other options.
I was going to say, Kody fully expects that they're going to try to rob him.
They might have to.
I mean, maybe make a little pit stop in Flagstaff before you go.
Is it robbing if you're taking what's rightfully yours?
Yeah, we should start liquidating the She-Ra Chateau.
You're going to run the numbers. I think you're going to be pretty surprised at what you find.
Kody wasn't even supposed to know that Janelle was moving, but an anonymous child accidentally mentioned it.
Who?
Exactly. That's who.
I wonder who.
I think we all know.
One of Christine's children. Wasn't Truly. Wasn't Isabel. Wasn't Aspen. Wasn't Gwen.
Wasn't Peyton?
Probably wasn't Peyton.
Mm-hmm. I think we know which one. The only one who really seems to have any type of relationship with them anymore. It's not like he showed up there at the storage unit trying to stop her with a boombox outside.
You think he was going to say anything at the storage unit?
I think he's got shit stored there too.
Oh, yeah. He came to make sure that she didn't take any of his knickknacks.
All the shit from his nightstand.
I have so many books. Janelle, you're not taking all of my wonderful literature, are you? Leave that here. That's mine. What was the confession here? It was that Kody, he knows something he's not supposed to know, but he knows it. And they don't know that he knows what he knows, but he does know it.
And he's not happy about it.
And, well, yeah, I guess that was the main summary. He's moved on, where he's happy for Christine. She's moved on. She's found love, true love.
And that's okay because he wasn't interested in having a marriage with her anymore.
That's fine. Yeah. But for Janelle, he thought he still had a chance. So this is like really upsetting.
But he didn't really have a chance, did he?
No, she's been telling him for so long, repeatedly now. No, dude, it's over.
When we get a big confession from her in the car, because everyone thought maybe Janelle was backsliding a little bit when she went out to dinner with Kody for her birthday last season.
It turned out she was just using him for dinner reservations, basically, was what was going on.
She decided either I'm going to sit here alone on my birthday because everybody else is busy, or I guess I can have Kody pay for me to go out to dinner at Mariposa.
At a nice restaurant that I've been wanting to go to. She never thought she would get a reservation there. And you know she's not going to call up and make the reservation for herself.
Doesn't fit in the budget.
Yeah, she has no excuse to go and do something that would bring her joy.
All right. This is my greatest desire, was that we should have had an entire season of Janelle just making Kody think he had a chance and having him like go on useless errands or go to buy her things that she wants or needs. And the whole time she has no plan of ever getting back together with him.
Just stringing Kody along. Mostly Kody and then also Robin. Because then you're teasing that idea that she could still have a sister wife who's around, maybe, but not really.
Well, there's no way Janelle was going to lunch with her.
It's not happening.
I think she could do the Kody thing. She wasn't going to bother stringing Robin along.
Not interested, no. But we're going to make some pit stops here on the road trip. We've got a few things planned because a Brown family road trip, you know, we got to stop off, add some time.
Or just make sure we have safe places to pull off the side of the road in case we get a flat.
Well, it has to be things that are way out of the way that we have to go to as well. That's just going to add so much travel time into this trip.
This place is not, though. They're going to stop at Plot's Plot, which is somewhere in Arizona. I don't know why, but when we were watching this, I thought that they'd gotten like halfway across the country by now.
No, they haven't left the state yet.
No.
So close. They just happened to see this on social media somewhere, the social media, and they decided, yes, they have decided to go to Plot's Plot.
It's basically just a glorified storage unit for things that people no longer want to own anymore.
It's like Coyote Pass.
Kinda is.
It's a barn dominium.
Okay, this is another idea of how they could leverage Coyote Pass, was they could do something like that.
Do a Plot's Plot.
Make it some kind of destination that becomes popular on social media.
And I mean, it kind of already is. Coyote Pass is. It is sort of a destination just in and of itself for people to go see. Has anything happened here? Nope, still nothing.
It's just a lot of people doing research.
See, you need to make something else there, something tangible, something sentimental. This is all stuff that would be right up Kody and Robin's alley, too, I think.
Oh, they would love to loot something like this at the end of the night.
Yeah, they're going to go parsing through. It's like opening a box that you ordered from QVC a couple months ago. You don't even remember what it was, that sent you into this frenzy that you just had to have it. And now you're opening it again. It's like a whole new rediscovery process of what you bought.
What a rush.
Whoa. But no, it's just a storage unit shed with a passcode that you get access to that you can unlock it and go into there. It's just out here in the middle of the desert.
So I'm very curious about this. Do people take things out of them? Because I would like to take what was left behind out of this one.
It sounded like they were just as confused too. So I don't know. Because they were like, does somebody come and clear this out every once in a while? Or
Christine is clearly disoriented because the first thing that she points out is the bag of Cheetos.
Well, the first thing that happens is when they open the doors, they swing this open and David yells, there's 2 heads in there. And you can't just yell that when you open a storage unit in the middle of the desert.
Terrifying.
You can't just scream that with no other information, David.
Okay, that was scary enough. And then they step inside and we get a shot of the 2 things that he's talking about. And why is one a literal piñata of Kody Brown?
Like, was Meri here? Or were Tony and McKelty here at some point? If they made a crude rendering of Kody and Meri's faces, I don't know, because it was a blonde woman piñata next to the Kody piñata.
Is there footage on the cutting room floor of the 2 of them just hysterically laughing? Because there's no way they didn't look at that and think it looked like Kody.
Because at this point, yeah, Christine is still looking at some of the other things. She notices her favorite things are the bag of half-eaten Cheetos and an empty bottle of Dr. Pepper, which I don't think those are sentimental things. I think that was just somebody didn't have a trash can. And so
they emptied out the car.
They emptied the car as part of this journey here. That was what was left behind. So Christine was very impressed by that for some unknown reason. But then they are leaving their sentimental items. And I think it was at that point when Christine talked about her dream catcher because she's been having night terrors, nightmares. She's still suffering from PTSD where she'll have dreams sometimes where she's still married to Kody and it's a nightmare.
And they live in one big house.
Oh no, it's just getting worse and worse. So it's a dream catcher that she bought in Flagstaff. So then it's kind of just the entire essence of Flagstaff for her, leaving that behind too. So they're kind of having this symbolic ceremony here of leaving the past behind. And then Janelle starts in on her documentation because she has brought
a very, very special item that I wondered if she still had in her possession. And now we know. Well, now she doesn't. But as of this point in the episode, still has the necklace that Kody designed for her of the frickin' tree.
The tree with the roots. And we know Janelle's a sucker for trees. She loves trees.
She just bought a whole bunch of them. What was it? 165 acres of them. So she's ready to part with this one.
Yeah, she's going to build a new tree. And I'm sure Jody from We Love to Hate Everything is going to lose her mind because you don't build trees. You plant trees. You can grow a tree. You don't build trees. So that's a weird way to say that, Janelle, but okay.
This is kind of a cathartic moment to see this necklace get left behind because, I mean, in my opinion, Robin designed this, or at least had a big part. And it's also very clear that the sterling silver did not withstand the test of time.
You seem to be under the impression that it looked tarnished in some ways.
Yeah, I did. You didn't think so?
I don't think so. Maybe that was just the distance, or it was a reflection of the piñatas that surrounded it or something. I feel like when Janelle was giving her speech, she kind of had to keep looking over her shoulder because it just felt like Kody was making direct eye contact with her at all times in the shed. But there's power in letting go of these items. Meri can attest to that. She spent a whole afternoon ripping a quilt apart. Piece by piece, thread by thread.
If she had just known that she could just leave this shit in a shed somewhere, that would have saved her a lot of time.
She's like, oh my God, damn. I should have done that. You got to let me know where Plot's plot is.
We're going to have her and Jen, Thelma and Louise 2.0.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Meri told one of the best stories that she's ever revealed about her relationship with Kody, and it was not on this show.
It was on Friday with Friends. It's another secret story that she's saving for her book, because Christine's publishing a book that's due out in September. Meri's book still doesn't have a delivery date or a publishing date, so TBD on that.
But she's thinking up the story. She's trying to tease out what she's got because these are unique to her. And this little ditty is about how Kody was out with Meri in Vegas one day and they made a little pit stop into an art gallery. I think we can all guess which one it was. And Meri started to look at the art because why else would my husband bring me to an art gallery? And she's pointing out some things that she likes. And Kody's like, oh, well, that's nice. If you want to look at it, you can go over to Robin's house because I only stopped here because I bought her something and I needed to make a payment.
Yeah, I put a deposit on that exact piece. So if you want to go look at it, go to Robin's house. I feel like Meri has a lot more stories like this too. And that's why we've been waiting for a book with a collection of these stories all in one place.
I got to tell you, between a book by Meri and a book by Christine, I really want to read the book by Meri. Like, I will support Christine. I will read the book, but I feel like it's going to be like very sugar-coated, and I would be surprised if she dwells a lot on things like that versus looking forward to the future. And Meri and Kody's relationship was so horrible that I think the stories that she has would blow Christine's out of the water.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like Christine has been kind of an unreliable narrator as well when it comes to family history or the way that things were. So
Corey,
her
all
story,
of them are. They had us
understand.
fooled from the beginning of this show that they were a functional family.
Well, I know, but even just looking back on the show and things that were filmed or storyline type things, there are some recollections that Christine has that doesn't always line up with what she originally told us, or it kind of shuffles around a little bit. So I think that's where I'm kind of hesitant to just jump in on whatever's being published on that side. But Christine's first to publish, though, so that's going to be tricky. Meri's got to stick to a better writing regimen here.
Better off when you're first to market. But that's a good lead into like the next little section that I have, because it was them repeating the same stuff that we had heard them talk about, I don't know, 1 million times already since the whole divorce first occurred, which is all the truth coming out about how Kody spent his time and how at one point it was equal, but then it wasn't. And then Robin denying that she ever had an issue with Kody not being around. It was her sister wives, a few of them, who had issues with that.
Not her, though.
No,
she was good.
not her.
Whether Kody was there, whether he wasn't there, even though it seemed like every single time anybody asked if Kody could be somewhere, and then it was, oh, no, sorry, I have to be at Robin's because there'll be hell to pay if I'm not.
But I don't mind if he's somewhere else. I didn't even notice. In hindsight, the flexible schedule probably wasn't the best thing, according to Kody.
Cody's a little loosey-goosey in hindsight, a little too loosey-goosey. Maybe we should have planned it a little bit better. He was just out there winging it.
He did talk about how some families are super rigid with the schedule, to the point that if it's an important anniversary or a birthday, doesn't matter. You still stick with the rotation, and then the next day that you're with that wife is when you celebrate whatever passed. I kind of think that's fair. I don't know. Am I just like really inflexible and annoying?
I mean, I feel like if you had one night per week or whatever it was in that span, and then you schedule it out, it doesn't need to be the same nights every week.
I think that's where they started. And then it grows to, well, now you've been back-to-back nights at this wife's house between like what would bridge 2 weeks. And then it turns into just never leaving Robin's house.
Well, I'm in the cul-de-sac, which is basically like being in your house too, because it's right across the street. It's the same thing.
That definitely was the gaslighting that occurred with that. And then, of course, Meri and Robin are not sister wives anymore to Janelle and Christine, even though they are sister wives to each other.
But we wish Meri all the best. We wish her a loving relationship that she so badly deserves. Dear God, I hope she finds out what love is at some point.
They said it was like, was it a well wish or was it kind of like pity?
It was a bless her heart. I think Janelle did say bless her heart at one point, and she's moving to North Carolina, so I think she knows what that means. Bless her heart, Meri. That Meri girl, man, let me tell you.
And then the laughs, they laugh so much they cackle about Robin's divorce requirement. The one where you gotta sleep with another person in order to officially call it quits with your ex.
Well, because Meri did do the official stuff. It was through the church, the unsealing that took place in the ceremony. And Janelle was talking about how, yeah, I've considered that, but I didn't even know who to call. Maybe call Meri? Maybe check in with Meri.
She's been calling Meri about other things. It's not like you don't have her number.
And Meri did it, so I think she'd be able to point you in the right direction if you're seriously considering it.
There is something I heard going around, and I'm not sure because I didn't hear it firsthand, but I think it came from Notes to Self about Meri's release, and that technically the grounds on which she got her release, which was abandonment, would mean that all of the wives could be released or were released. Like, they don't necessarily need to go and ask for that now.
The unsealing that took place.
I think that's correct, guys.
Well, and also it means that that Kody and Robin wouldn't be able to add wives again because now you're not fit to be a plural husband.
Declared a loser in their church.
What a loser.
I don't know. I still think that they make rules up as they go.
Well, and that's not verbatim, as we're assigning the loser role from our personal point of view. That may not be the stance of...
Oh, you don't think that they stamped Kody's paperwork? Instead of divorce, it just says loser.
Loser. Yeah, I don't think they did that.
Oh.
I think that's just for us.
Although, I don't know, like, is that true? Because Robin is now saying she wants to see Janelle and Christine get their spiritual marriages dissolved too, which is quite a turnaround from the Robin Brown that we heard about.
But you know what? That actually tracks because it seems like Robin has no fucking clue what the requirements are in their religion for divorce or for spiritual releases, because she was the one who brought that same theory of if you bang somebody, then you are divorced. And that is when you're officially cleared out of your spiritual marriage. So something tells me she doesn't really know. She doesn't know what's going on.
No, I don't think that we're going to trust her.
Then they get talking about Coyote Pass.
Oh, yeah.
How it's just sitting there. It's costing money.
And Janelle could really use a cash infusion for her new life. I mean, she's going to be there pretty soon, and I don't think they're going to have this resolved by the time they land in North Carolina.
If you'll refer to your packet, it has all the information, but...
I'm asking for $2.2 million.
With a generous cash infusion, I would be able to really improve my living situation.
As we've heard before, the money to purchase the She-Ra Chateau, a lot of it came from the money that Janelle made on selling her house in Vegas. And she thought, okay, this is how this family works. When someone needs money, we pool our resources together, and then that money comes back to the family at some point, and then those resources get passed along to the next person that needs them.
I think it's only if you have an abundance mindset. And if you practice the the visualization and the vision boarding, then I think that's when all the assets flow in your direction.
So then we need Janelle to make her own vision board, and she's got to put the She-Ra Chateau on it with a bunch of money pouring out of the bottom of it.
Yeah, but I don't want the She-Ra Chateau.
No, she wants the money
sucked
out of it.
Yeah.
The equity.
A vacuum cleaner with some money on it.
Maybe just a big check.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Which I guess is not coming out of the family account because this is something that aired in the Australian version of one of the last episodes. Kody closed the family account and just didn't tell anyone.
Didn't let Janelle know, who does all the bookkeeping and is apparently in charge of the finances, according to Kody, even though clearly she's not because Kody just walked in and closed an account without her knowing.
I bet you that thing's been at zero for like a number of years now.
Well, either that or I liked your theory when you were speculating that he was probably just trying to hide the account history that showed that, yes, they were sharing resources and pooling those accounts, and the money that was coming in, the money that was coming out, the things that were paid for out of that account. There's a lot of transaction history that can go to prove a case of what Janelle and Meri are owed in terms of the equity in Coyote Pass.
Something maybe a lawyer would be interested in looking at. I don't know.
A little bit. I feel like even if you close down a bank account, if your name was on there, you should be able to
still get the records.
Go to the bank and say, hey, I just need the transaction history for this account.
And then they'd be like, okay, I'm going to need you to log into your account. And then you have to explain, the account is closed.
The account is love gives you wings.
Come on, you know that you'd have to fight with some online chat bot for 45 minutes before you finally got the answer that you needed.
And some people were confused the last time I did that. I'm sorry. That's Robin's old Twitter handle is love gives you wings without any vowels in it. So in case anybody's wondering what that means, that's what it sounds like when I do the Robin voice that says her Twitter handle.
It is very hard to understand in the voice.
Love gives you wings.
Okay, this is the part that enraged me, which is where Robin again is claiming, I am not accountant. I don't know. I put a lot of money into this family in the early years. So I think it all kind of balanced out at the end.
About 1.5 mil. I brought negative 35,000 to the family when we first started.
The credit card debt. And then she had a job for a minute and then never had a job again.
No, that was when she didn't, that was in Lehigh.
Then she cleared out Janelle's 401k to start her business.
That never brought anything in. That was all minuses.
So I'm unclear as to where all of the deposits from Robin Alice Brown's accounts came into the family pot.
Here's what I think her theory is. Are you ready for these mental gymnastics? You might need to do some stretches first. I'm thinking that Robin feels like she is solely responsible for every single dollar that has come from TLC because she's the reason why they have a show. The show was Kody is marrying a fourth wife. So that's her contribution.
Okay, that's funny because my guess is Kody also believes that the wives only have money because the show is about him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the Robin and Kody show in their minds. And so every single dollar that's come in from that, they have total claim on it.
So Robin doesn't seem to feel like she owes Janelle anything. And then Kody comes up with an excuse as to why I guess he doesn't have to pay Janelle anything now is Janelle could have had a house. I offered to buy a house with her, but she wanted to live that RV life. I mean, she bought an RV, so that's what you have now.
For a second, I thought maybe they did have a conversation like that. And then Janelle immediately clarifies for us. Yeah, the house that he was talking about helping me buy was Christine's house. Remember when that came up? And that was Kody's bright solution to everything was because Christine was selling her house. Janelle needed a house. So there's two pieces of the puzzle that just go together perfectly for Kody. Fixes two problems with one solution here.
Where did the $500,000 that they would have needed to buy her house go? Because she didn't spend $500,000 on an RV.
I think it was probably a couple of pianos and then definitely some bear statues.
Yeah, a lot of art.
Some more art. Robin's retirement plan.
We all know Janelle got screwed.
It took her a while to figure out that she got screwed, but I think she's aware now too. She's far enough out from it where she has the understanding that if I'm not careful, I can really end up in a bad spot. I'm already in a bad spot. It's not good. And I need to be careful how I navigate the next few steps. So what is she doing? She's picking up everything in her life and she's moving all the way across the country to just go all in on this next adventure that may work. It may not work, but it needs to work because if it doesn't, she's really fucked. Is that the best response to have to the situation that you found yourself in, the circumstances that you were in that put you into a horrible situation, and now you're just launching yourself into this? Janelle seems to think that this is the first time she's ever been in this life situation where I'm jumping into something uncertain and it has to go right. Otherwise, I'm screwed. That's not the first time this has happened, babe.
No, we've watched this happen over and over and over again over the years on this show. We think the plan out just enough to get to the next step where we spend a whole lot of money, and then everything after that, not well planned. So here we are again.
It scares me that Janelle's solution to her new future, her new life, her new everything was a move. because that has always been the family solution. When you need a new start, a fresh start, a change of scenery, that will fix all of my problems. So that has me concerned because that is a family pattern that has resonated through the entire series. It is fully documented for 19 seasons.
Oh, and she has gone balls to the wall this time because she's going someplace very far away that she has never lived before.
And she's buying 165 acres of land that I can only assume nobody has looked at. Nobody set foot on it. They just read about it on a pamphlet. They asked some questions and they made an offer and it was accepted.
We're not there yet, though. Hopefully, David will get there to scope things out and we'll get a better idea of what's really going on.
I don't think they have any drywall out there, so I don't know if we could trust his judgment either.
Oh, he is excited because she's going to build a house from the ground up.
A couple of houses. Yeah.
They're going to need a lot of drywall.
Maybe that's what he was drywalling when he sent us the cameo.
Janelle's house.
No, they're not that far along yet.
And neither is Christine. Did you see the AI picture of Christine pregnant?
No, that did not hit my feed.
Yeah, it's not good. You know, maybe I understand that AI, people are excited about it and they think it's technology of the future. Let's not use it until it actually works.
Well, you have to keep feeding it so then it knows what it should look like.
We need smaller hands.
Oh boy. Smaller hands?
You'll see the picture. I'll show you the picture later.
Sounds terrifying.
It is.
Okay.
A book and a baby.
Oh.
Well, so they are going to leave Truly behind in the hotel because she is peopled out. And I identified a lot with Truly in that moment.
Same girl, same.
This is like when you have to go on a business trip and at the end of the day, you're like, okay, I just need to sit alone in my hotel room with the curtains closed.
And a gallon of ice cream. And leave me alone.
See you tomorrow. They're going to stop off and they said get something to eat, but instead they decide to go to a bar where they just order drinks.
They might have some food too.
I didn't see any.
It didn't look like they had food. They're in Louisiana, so maybe they'll bump into Gypsy Rose. That's all I had to keep an eye out for in the background.
We can only hope.
We'll be covering that over on Surviving Reality when it comes back in March, so that'll be exciting.
We didn't get enough Bayou accents.
No, not nearly enough. And we didn't see Rod Blanchard, so Amy Archer's going to be pretty upset.
What to order at a bar? Janelle is just not familiar with this environment. She's done things like ordered wine before at dinner, but never gone to a bar and certainly has not had a shot.
Shots.
Yeah, we needed some music. They couldn't pay for that?
No.
Wasn't in the budget?
I would love to hear their royalty-free version that they would be able to find. And I don't know what the lyrical content would be, but something about chasing Catholic girls, probably. Because that was what they played at the wedding reception. And that was so fitting.
So weird.
So fitting for that.
They confused that. That was supposed to be the music track for Aurora's baptism.
Oh, dang. Yeah. Well, now we wasted it.
Also, please don't send me messages. I know that Catholic people baptize babies.
Right.
Although, is Rora not a baby anymore? I don't know. We'll get there. First, we have to have some shots.
Yeah. First shot ever.
Yeah. Christine does seem like maybe she's done some deconstruction because she mentions that all these rules, like the things with alcohol, it kind of seems like it was just a form of control that their religion impressed upon them. And these things really aren't important to her anymore.
Christine gets it. I don't know why Janelle doesn't get it, but okay. Yeah, we're getting there.
I would have liked to have seen them do tequila shots, but instead David recommends a slippery nipple.
Of course he does. Highly recommends.
Can't have just one. We're going to have to order a couple.
Well, Christine alleges she's never had one, and I find that difficult to believe. Maybe not the drink, perhaps.
What was this? It's like butterscotch schnapps, I think, and then Bailey's and Sambuca, and that's where they lose me.
Yeah, Carly doesn't do the star anise. What is it?
Yeah, I don't like anything that tastes like licorice.
I'll do the Bailey's, though. I like Bailey's.
But I feel like that's going to give it like a very frothy consistency. Does everything mix or does some just kind of sit on top of the other?
I think some of it sits on top. Yeah.
The butterscotch sounds good.
I'll be honest. I do prefer Ryan's Irish cream over Bailey's. I'm just going to throw that out there too. For the people who know, now you know.
Janelle's face does not say that she loves it. I don't think she really liked it.
It's good. It's good.
She wasn't ready. It was burning. She didn't hate the aftertaste, but
yeah, there's like a butterscotch sort of, it's a smooth aftertaste. A little sweeter. But there is a burn because, it's a shot. So, yeah.
This was like a little tough to watch, knowing the role that alcohol played in Garrison's life. And like the quote at the end of this, which is, "My life is about to really change," coming from Janelle, just felt like a type of foreshadowing that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah, it was hard enough when they were at the storage unit and she was saying that Gabe and Garrison and Savannah are going to stay back in Flagstaff and she's moving and this was the big change and stuff like that. That was already hard enough knowing what comes next, where this is going to be really rough.
That's kind of a good lead into the segment with Kody and Robin.
The slippery nipple is a good segue.
I have questions around when this was filmed. So in my haze in the last episode, when we were talking about them painting the benches out on Coyote Pass, we had theorized that was, summer of 23? But it seems like it was summer of 24, which would be after Garrison passed away. They're kind of pulling footage into places where it just works with the story versus following a chronological timeline, which they usually pretty much stick to on this show. It seems like it's Easter here. There were some Easter eggs out on the counter.
To be fair, decorations in Robin's house, it's kind of a crapshoot.
Well, she leaves them out for a period of time, and then it's hard to know. Like, did the Valentine's Day decorations come down and Easter immediately went up?
So is this like February, early February stuff, or mid-February, late February? It's hard to tell.
But Easter was the end of March that year. Little timeline check as we start to go into this.
Yeah, because we've got some foreplay in the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's starting things off here.
What is happening? Kody is constantly trying to get Robin horny.
And it seems like doing dishes is his go-to move. And I feel like that sounded better than his towel method, which is just post-shower flexing on Robin.
That didn't work, so he resorted to doing household tasks that are usually reserved for the nanny.
That doesn't have the same allure that it used to, I guess. Yeah, it's waning now.
Maybe you could just come to the front door with the QVC box and ring the doorbell.
Oh, a little role play. He's the delivery man.
He's the UPS man.
She's into it. But it turns out Aurora is standing on the other side of the kitchen, which makes this about 10 times more awkward. She's pretending like she can't hear what's going on and what's being discussed right now.
Oh, she's too busy thinking about the man on her mind. She is all about Jesus. She's got the cross necklace on. She's been religiously attending this new church. And she's super nervous, which is not at all like her, because she has to talk to Kody and Robin about something.
Kody was so focused on getting Robin wet, he didn't realize that Aurora was ready to get wet.
Oh my God.
And we're talking about baptism, okay? Get your minds out of the gutter.
They're not really sure what that means. That kind of becomes apparent because first of all, Robin acts like she's not heard this before. And it was her fake Pikachu face.
She's a bad actress. Terrible actress. And you can tell immediately.
No, they rehearsed that this was going to be what they were going to film today.
They have to drum up some drama because there is nothing dramatic about Aurora asking if she can be baptized. There is no drama in that. So now they have to drum it up of, okay, is she asking to join the church? She's already joined the church. She's actively involved and is a member in the church. So I think it's too late for that, if that's your worry and your concern.
Guys, she goes to youth group like twice a week. She goes to church on Sunday. She's there every night of the week.
All the time.
She has joined.
A member.
She joined the band. She's joined twice.
Actively involved. But Kody seems to feel like he'll feel better about it because it doesn't really matter how Aurora feels about it. I just need to know, is this about your relationship with God or is this about your relationship with a church? And Aurora knows the answer that she needs to give for this. It's about God, obviously. Don't worry. Don't have a cow, man. But I think this is when Kody broke a little bit as part of this. That was where it made us question when did this happen? Because I think it was right when he was talking about how his advice for all of his children has always been find your path to God. So if he was upset thinking about Garrison in that moment.
The thing that I thought got him upset was when he told Rora that he was so proud of her and that there have been so many times in his life where he's wondered where God is. He started to get really upset after that. And that's where I thought that this maybe was after Garrison passed.
Well, the other thing about that little monologue that he was able to give us was where he's always felt either a very close, lifted the wind beneath my wings sort of relationship with God, where God has built him up, or he's questioned where is God in his tumultuous times. And that rang true for me too, where I was like, do you think that's what a lot of your kids end up asking about too? Of like, where is my dad? So not just like a religious father figure who you have in mind, but you as an actual father to 20 some odd children. Maybe that's...
You find some parallels
there.
there.
Can we relate that to some other people's life experiences that we're surrounded by here as well?
I don't like to make assumptions without knowing like where things actually fall in the timeline, but it's totally possible he could have been crying about himself too, with all the hurt that he went through with all of his divorces, because he is a very self-centered person.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's totally possible as well.
I wouldn't put it past him.
But if this did happen after Garrison passed away, I just feel like it's really deranged to film something like this just, I don't know, a few weeks later.
Yeah, and Rora's looking to get this done soon. She doesn't have an exact timeline, but as soon as possible.
I got to get on the schedule.
Is that a timeline? Yeah, I got to get penciled in here. But then the big question comes up, and she can barely get through it because she's full of tears here too. Kody, would you do the honors of baptizing me along with my pastor?
All he hears is that he's going to have a role in performing this. I'm pretty sure he was under the impression that he is actually doing the baptism. Like, he just heard the part about the pastor being there and went right past that. And he's wondering, like, do I have the authority to do this? I'm allowed to perform a baptism?
Sure, yeah, you could do that.
Whatever you think is happening, just if you could just stand up there with me. That's really all I'm asking you to do.
I don't know. They let Barry Plath do it to Mariah over on Welcome to Plathville, so that should be all right.
The requirements are low.
The bar is very low.
I guess we have this to look forward to at some point.
What the hell was with Robin's description where she thinks that Aurora brought this up as a way to just include Robin and Kody?
Oh, well, because Robin and Kody have been ostracized from the rest of the family. And so it's nice to have one of the kids reach out when they have a big life moment and ask them to be part of it.
See, that seemed like a low blow, like a fuck you to everybody else, every other kid in the family.
Oh, I'm convinced everything they've filmed this season has been that.
Oh, yeah. That was the goal. That was the intention behind it.
To show, look how great we are, look how good we function. It's everybody else who's the problem.
Because all of the problems have to lie outside of Robin and Kody's house because everything else is perfect with them for now.
And one of their problems is far away in Parowan, Utah now.
We're talking about the Airbnb.
Yeah, she is still at the B&B, which is kind of her residence, but she doesn't really want to call it her home.
For tax purposes, probably.
And it's a big day. They are throwing a retirement party for Madeline, who I don't think ever saw on the show.
Never seen her, but we've heard good things.
You know, she was the cook at the B&B and she's retiring, which is a very big deal because the food was really good and now it's going to go steeply downhill.
Yeah, because Jen's going to have to do it because I'm not going to hire somebody else. So Jen's going to have to figure this out. And I feel like it's just going to be ordering a lot of Taco Bell.
And Rice Krispie treats.
Rice Krispie treats. That's all we have to offer. It's a lot of rice, you guys, if we're being honest. You're going to get bound up. But that's good because the plumbing can't handle too much. So that's a win-win.
Old pipes. They throw her this party and it's like every retirement party ever where the person who's retiring is not sad and everyone else is.
Well, not sad or like they don't want to be here either. Usually people who are retiring are like, I don't care anymore.
The fanfare, I don't need it. Just like give me my final pay stub and let me out of here.
I'm ready to go. Yeah. I like how gruff Madeline is. I wish we would have seen more of her.
I enjoyed her personality.
Yeah. Like, I think Meri needs more of this in her life. So I am bummed that she's going to lose sort of this exposure.
And I mean, Meri has lost like 2 employees over the past few years. So she's ready to close the B&B now.
At this point.
She doesn't have Bonnie to run it anymore. Madeline's not going to cook. Jen is really just here to be her friend. Now that she's got to experience what it's like to live around her bestie, that's really all she wants to do. She just want to work.
I don't want to do the whole like B&B thing anymore. And I think that wasn't the dream, to own and operate a B&B. That wasn't the dream. That was a peripheral dream to the dream was the house. I want the house and I want it back in the family. So mission accomplished there. Now, do I still want to run this as a B&B actively where it's day in and day out? I'm trying to get bookings. I'm trying to take care of the place and renovate and upkeep.
I do think she's going to get a lot of shit for saying that this was never her dream.
I think that's true. I think this was the answer that she had to give to validate the other dream, because she couldn't just say, I want to buy the house to have it in the family. She had to say, I want to buy this house. It's also a business opportunity, and here's the way that it'll fund itself and be paid for in the long run. She had to come up with a good, clear reasoning for it, even though the rest of the family still didn't believe her even once she put that together. But I do believe her when she says that was not the original dream. I don't think she ever wanted to own and operate a B&B.
I agree with you. And I do think that the family kind of detected that from time to time, and that's why they really questioned her.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, they caught some apprehension in the planning stages there because that wasn't really what Meri wanted to do. So they figured she was just going to give up on it at some point and then they'd really be in trouble. But I think the dream was get the house, obtain the house, bring it back in the family.
Well, I guess that's a correction from the last episode then, because Christine told us that owning a B&B was her dream. And we were like, no, that's Meri's dream.
Okay,
but
so
it
maybe
wasn't.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't.
She just beat her to opening that kind of business, but it wasn't something she actually wanted to do.
She's always first to publish. Yeah. First to B&B dreams, first to divorce Kody, first to publish a book.
Always beating Meri. Why does she suddenly morph into Jennifer Coolidge?
I need to find a man.
Didn't love the vibe. It wasn't very worthy up that we went from talking about abandoning the B&B to now we need to find a new dream, because that was never really the dream. And apparently the dream is a man.
I'll tell you why that rubs me the wrong way more than the sentence that I just said. I would say it's probably for her to say my new dream is to find a man. I think what she's saying in that is I want to find a man who can give me a dream, which I really don't like that at all. She needs to do her own thing in general. And I think she thought about it and she's like, well, I don't know what I want to do. I want to be with somebody and then figure out what we can do together. And it's like, I don't know if that's the answer.
All right, look, the Merisance is still happening for me because I'm going to come to Meri's defense here.
Good luck.
She has been doing her own thing. She's worthying up. She's running multiple businesses. She's at the top of all of these MLM pyramids. She needs to find a partner.
It's lonely at the top. Yeah.
Who wants to live life together and form a life together.
That's not what she said. That's not what I heard.
She just wants to fit into somebody else's life.
Well, not even fit into somebody else's life. I think she doesn't know what she wants from her life. So she needs to find somebody else to then say, here's what our goal is for us together, and then piece it together.
All
She's
right.
afraid to build anything of herself on her own independently because she doesn't want that to constrict whatever partner she's going to pick and what that means for them. I don't want to move into a house because it might not be my house. It wouldn't be our house then. It would be my house. But like, if you found a supportive partner whatever's going on in your life would be something that they would be able to support you in and champion you on and get behind and work with you on. So I feel like that's where the disconnect is.
Corey, she does not want to call the B&B home because she does not want to be limited to living in Parowan.
For tax purposes, too.
She cannot legally call it.
I cannot call this
her
home.
domicile.
It's not my primary residence.
But what if she meets a man who's from a completely different part of the country?
Like Minnesota.
She's not really like in love with living in Parowan. It's just this is where the house is.
He's from one of the Sin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
It feels like Meri would fit right in the plot of Drop Dead Gorgeous.
A mare I can.
A mare I can.
I think I still stand behind. She needs to find an East Coast mass hole for her. Like, I think she needs somebody who can rough and tumble sort of, in terms of the verbal.
She needs someone who's not going to be as offended by the little shitty things she says.
Yeah.
There are people who can give it right back, and it's not in a nasty way, and they're not offended.
No. Yeah. And it's a quick wit about it. And it's sharp. It can cut deep, though. So we got to be careful. But I feel like the passive aggressiveness that Meri has, she needs some aggressive to show what the difference is there, and you don't need to be passive aggressive. You can just joke in that
Be direct.
manner. Yeah, be direct and be upfront, and you don't need to have a hidden meaning behind what you're saying. You can actually just say what you mean.
I guess she's forgotten all about Famous Amos because she mentioned she's been on a few dates, but it hasn't really worked out. She's had to block a few people, which isn't really surprising because she loves to block people on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the platforms.
They didn't read the rules. They forgot their bin number.
And if we're going to be emptying this place out, we're not going to have guests staying here. That's a lot of room for Meri to have boyfriends. That's what Jen is thinking about. We can fill this place up.
A man in every room here. No, thank you, Daddy. I think the word they were looking for, too, was polyandry, because this is still the Learning Channel. We could have followed that up with a fun fact for everybody. They couldn't figure out what it is for polygamy when it's one woman and multiple men.
I guess they're not watching all of the other shows about poly relationships that are on TLC.
So many. Yeah, because polygamy is polygamy. And then you have polygyny, which technically is what this is. It's one husband, multiple wives. And then you have polyandry, which is the other way.
God, get with it, Meri.
Come on now. It's not that hard. You get them sorted out. You figure it out.
So this is just going to become like an event space. In the middle of Parowan, a place where a lot of events happen, very centrally located to an airport or generally to like travel.
I'm telling you, corporate retreats, that's what you got to do. You're close to ski.
They have 4 rooms.
Small business retreats. You could do like executive leader sort of, team building.
The C-suites stay in the B&B.
C-suites stay in the B&B. Yeah, because normally it's just a sleepy ski village, basically, that's near a mountain during the wintertime, and that's when you get people.
Okay, I need Meri.
You could do, offset where you have your seasonal business and then just go do your other stuff for the rest of the year.
No, I need Meri to learn that you can actually pick a house up and move it.
Oh, please don't move this house.
You can relocate a house.
Don't give them any ideas.
Why not? I think the money, once she finally gets it out of Coyote Pass, we need to pick this thing up off the ground and move it somewhere where it's actually going to make money.
Where are you going to move it?
I don't know.
Man.
She'll find a plot of land somewhere. Janelle can help her.
That's the last thing that we need for this show to figure out that moving storylines are boring, so we need to move an entire house now, and then that's how they're going to change this around. Technically, it's not a moving storyline. We're moving a house.
Have you ever seen them do that?
Yes.
They put it on the back of the truck. They just move that house.
Move that house.
There we go. Now she's on HGTV.
No.
We've got a whole new future for her.
Ty Pennington's not on HGTV.
No, but I'm just saying we can have like a home-oriented show featuring Meri Brown. It's like when Chelsea DeVore left Teen Mom. We need to start thinking about the future, Meri. You're not going to sell this book that's going to come out in 20 years. Let's get on another TV channel.
This feels more like a Jen show. This is going to be Jen's HGTV show where she just helps people move houses.
And David fixes the drywall.
You could make, a side character appearance there. Maybe talk you through a couple of renovations here and there.
Is that where we leave them right now?
I think that's where we leave them.
We're going to put a little pin in Sister Wives season 19. We'll find out when we return what else there is. But from what we're hearing, there's a lot more to come. This is not going to return and just have a couple of episodes. We are here for the entire marathon.
The long haul.
And as we said at the top of the show, we have to, add repetition so that people remember. We will still be here the entire time. No matter how long the hiatus lasts, you will have a new episode from us to listen to.
So fear not, dear listeners. And thank you for listening and being a part of the Sister Wives community here. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to drop us a review on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you're listening.
Also, we have another podcast called Surviving Reality where we are recapping season 3 of The Traitors, which is, like they say for The Bachelor, the most exciting season yet.
But it's actually true on The Traitors, because on The Bachelor, that doesn't mean anything, if we're being honest.
And we are going to be recapping Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup season 2 when that comes back on March 10th.
I got to know who the baby daddy is. I need to know.
And Kody has accents that stretch beyond Sister Wives.
It's going to be a lot of work. That one is Sister Wives, though, too, technically. I didn't know that Janelle had an accent until this season. She didn't know she had an accent until this season either.
Why don't you hit us with little Ryan from Gypsy, her ex, soon to be ex.
Baby, those are my lunches. You can't just throw out good food. I take that to work. That's my lunch.
God, I can't wait for it to come back.
It's just that phrase, too, on repeat. But maybe we'll find some other things that I can say in the Ryan voice eventually.
And of course, you can join us over on Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod. We do lots of fun things over there. We have ad-free episodes. And then we have bonus episodes called Mediocre Down, where we deep dive into episodes of Sister Wives. We've got a live stream that we do once a month.
We did trivia as part of our 5-year podcast celebration, podiversary in January here.
And of course, you get the Discord as part of that over on the Patreon. And we are going to be doing our watch parties. They will continue on Monday nights. Usually we watch whatever the new episode of season 19 was, but we will be watching the episodes that we are doing in the rehash. So those are Monday nights at 9 p.m.
Be sure to check the episode description for the links to all of that stuff. You can check it out at beacons.ai/survivingpod.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.